Okay, guys, so Christmas is rapidly approaching, and the cost of everything right now is out of control. You got to go to the gas station. It's 2 arms and a half a leg to give yourself a half tank of gas. So you want to kind of cut back a little bit on your Christmas presents, and you got kids that want to buy presents for people, and that costs a lot. So here on this video, what we're going to do is I came up with 8 gifts that are so simple that kids can make, and they're also pretty cheap to make too. And like my mom always said, it's not always the gift that you give, it's the thought. So, side note on this, and something that I like to do is I like to build some of the gifts that I give. And the reason that I do that is if you are doing a limit on how much you are spending, if you buy that limit of materials and you invest some of your time, the value of that item is actually a lot more than the limit that you guys set for your gifts. So, just as a sidebar there, I think that's a great way to go if you have the abilities to do that. Back over to the regular part of the video. So I have 8 little presents that we're going to make along the way. I'm going to have some helpers come in, and they're going to help me make these so I can show you just how simple these are. I'm going to start off with the most simplest. We'll work our way up to the most complex, which is still pretty easy. And I will show you exactly how hard they get. Let's get dusty. Alright, guys. The easiest gift right here has 0 tools. All you gotta do is take a picture of someone who would reference into this gift. Take a picture of them with some kind of a background, some kind of plain area like this. So all you do is you take a picture, print it out, and then frame it. That's all you gotta do. Dry erase marker, and now you have basically your own whiteboard. So for this one, I just subscribe on there, and then once you've done it, erase it right off. So basically, like I said, you have basically your own whiteboard that you can do, and then you can put this in your office, hang it up, whatever. Grocery list would be great for this. So that is the easiest gift that you can give, and I bet you someone would absolutely love it. Again, take a picture, have something. I mean, you could do a nice blue sky in the background or next to a fence. Do a family photo. Do a couple of kids holding up, a big poster board. Something like that would be great. That is the easiest gift to make. Alright, project number 2 requires a little bit of tools, but not much. And this is actually something that I built on the first video that I made. It's on YouTube now. It's really cringy watching because I wasn't comfortable in front of the camera. But I literally use this thing every single day. So what this is a phone charger holder to keep your phone charger from falling off of your nightstand or wherever. So this is really simple. All you need is like a 1/2 inch plywood or a 1x. You want to rip this thing down. You want 3.5 inches by about 7 inches. Measure your phone, or if you really wanted to, and then get a better dimension. I just went 3.5 by 7. And then take your clothespin and cut about a 1/2 inch off the back of it. And then once you have all that, super easy. All you're going to do is take some hot glue, squirt it around the back. Try to line up this center hole area right here with kind of the center of the board. And then you're going to put it on there. You're going to wait for that to dry. And then, like I said, this is one of those projects where the kid can write on here, "Good morning, Mom," or whatever you want on there. And the way that it really works is you put this on your nightstand. You clip it like that, and then it keeps your cord from falling and losing it. One other thing, if you won't want this thing to slip around, take some hot glue. Try to get, I need more glue sticky. As you want to do in every corner, just do a little foot in every corner, and then that'll prevent it from sliding around too much. So that was the phone charger cable holder thing. Alright, so let's move on to something that requires a little more tools and a little more creativity to it. So this is actually for a lost sock, lost glove pair type holder. So basically, if you lose, you always have one glove or one sock that's looking for its mate. This allows you to put it somewhere where you'll remember about it, and then hopefully you can find its long lost one somewhere. So first thing you want to decide is, do you want it to hang on the wall or do you want it to stand freely? Hanging on the wall is going to be easier, so I'm going to do the standing free one because that requires just a little bit more to it. So I'm going to do a mitten one because it's just easier. But either way, all you're going to do is take a small scrap piece of plywood or maybe some 1x6 or 1x8. And all you're going to, this is, I think, 3/8 thickness plywood. It's about 10 inches by 13, 14 inches. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw out the shape of what I want to cut out on the bandsaw on this. Alright, so you can use a jigsaw or a scroll saw or a bandsaw, whatever, to cut this out. I'm using the bandsaw because it's right here. I didn't know that the jigsaw was actually like behind me. But I'm just going to use the bandsaw on this. Now, if you're going to do a standalone one, you want to make sure that the bottom that you have section is something that's flat. So maybe if you're doing a sock, just do the sock and then have still a little flat platform. You'll understand why. If you're doing one that hangs on the wall, you don't need that. Let's cut this bad boy out. I'm going to throw this thing on the belt sander real quick just to touch it up. You can use a hand sander. Also, if you don't have any saw like that, a coping saw would also work. And if you don't have any saws, leave it square. Just draw it out and then have the kids color it. And that would be the same aspect as cutting it out. But if you can cut it out, let's cut it out. I'm going to sand this thing, then we'll take it over to the other table. Alright, so once you have your item sanded down, ready to go, all you need is a small block. This is like a 1 by 2.5 that's just going to sit right at this base. Just give it something that it'll stand and sit actually on. So you can put this on however you want. You can glue it, screw it, nail it, bop it, stick it, you know, whatever. So I'm just going to smear a little glue on the back. Line her up. I got this thing pre-sanded with some bevels on it. If you want to router these out and make it look super nice, you can do that as well. Obviously, you can do whatever you want because you're an adult or not, you're a kid, whatever you are. So anyway, so then you're just going to... Boom. Alright, so now it's standing. But now you need something that that you can clip whatever to. That's where you got this little bad boy. This is a clothespin, professionally named. All you do with that, smear a little glue on the back side of that. Bloop. Put her on. And then when you put it on, kick it sideways. Make a little X out of it. And then what that's going to do, that's going to give you the space to take a staple gun. You don't have to staple it. You probably could just glue it and hot glue it. Get that on there. Don't mess up the first staple like I did. And then there you go. Obviously, probably make it taller than mine because mine would hold a baby sock. But I think baby socks are the one that you really do. But that's it. So that's your lost mitten, glove holder, sock holder thing. Again, super simple product to make. Have the kids draw on it or whatever. Maybe stain it, make it look really nice and pretty, and keep it out in your laundry room. That was the lost sock mitten holder. Alright, so this one is the quarter hole game. Now, if you like cornhole, you'll love quarter hole. Why? Because it's with quarters. So anyways, so all that you're going to need for this is a little scrap of 1/4-inch plywood and some 1x. So this 1x we're going to rip into basically a 1-inch by 1-inch square. Well, these 3/4, so 3/4 by 3/4 square. And then we're going to make two 3x5 rectangles out of this. Alright, quick tip on how to cut this thing square. So 1x square. Use it as your spacer guide, strap her down, and now you'll have squares. Now let's hope I don't cut my finger because I should have had a longer piece. So once you have your bits and pieces, what you want to do is you want to measure 1.5 inches down and then 1.5 inches in. That'll give you halfway here, 1.5 inches down there, obviously. And then take your, I have a 1 1/4-inch hole saw, 1 1/4-inch paddle bit saw, whatever will work. You can also jigsaw a 1 1/4-inch hole. And then all you're going to do is line that bad boy up, and you're going to cut out two 1 1/4-inch holes. Alright, now you got some holes here. Alright, slide these over. Now take those 3/4 by 3/4 blocks that were 3 inches wide that you cut. Again, these are 3 inches by 5 inches. You're going to smear some glue. Take them. Now, if you want, what you can do is you can putty in these holes, and then paint them any, like, the sports colors of whoever you are giving these to. They'll really enjoy them, or just let the kids color on them. And all you do is just, it's like a quarter bounce cornhole. Just quarter it and just, and again, you can color scheme these or paint these, whatever, finish them whichever colors you want. But it's just like that. But instead of cornhole where you got to do that number, you just kind of. And now I'm not going to do this until I get one because we could be here a while. Yay! Yeah, so this would be good for someone with a desk or something like that. Again, so these are your cornhole games. This one right here, this is going to be either for ties or a hat rack that's going to hang in your closet. For this, all I have is a section of 2x2 that's cut off, and it's about 10 inches long. This can alter as long as you want. And then I have some 5/16 dowel that I cut into 2-inch sections. Now, I believe if you wanted to, instead of getting the dowel, you can just buy some of the pre-cut dowels that are used for joinery. Those might work too. I would try to get at least 2 inches long. And then what you're going to do is mark down on this where you want this to go. So you're going to want a top center one. Drill a hole through the top center. Alright, got that hole. So now that hole is going to do is that is going to let you put a string or a rope through that. Oh, come on. Alright, so now what to do, and I don't think I cut the string long enough, is then they can actually tie this over the rail in their closet bar in the closet, whatever it is. They can hang this right over the top of it, and this will hang this up. So now what you want to do is you want to try to figure out where you want these. I only cut 8 dowels. You can do a lot more than that, but you just kind of figure out where you're going to want these things to lie. Alright, then on taking the drill bit that will work for your dowel size, you're going to angle down. Rope's up here. You're going to angle down, trying to get a nice, I don't know, slight angle to it. You don't got to go super deep. Try to stay consistently deep. If you want, what you can do is actually put a piece of tape on your drill bit, and then that'll tell you just how deep you're going. But I'm just going to eyeball it here. Now, once you have your holes drilled, more than likely you're going to want to give her a quick sand down. And then you come over with your dowels. And now you have a tie or a hat rack. Super, super simple, but dads and grandpas will love it. Again, this was a little too thin, but you can just tie it right up there. Or if you want, just do one side and then do a long strip, do the same thing. Again, 2-inch dowels. These are 5/16 wide. 2-inch dowels cut in and about on a 2x2. That is your tie/hat rack. Now this gift is actually something that I used in my house when my kids were growing up, and I would really recommend it for any new parents or grandparents or anyone who has babies or children. This is the bib holder. So I don't know where most people keep their bibs, because I always had one of these that I built, and I always kept this up on the counter. So what you need is you need 1x6. I'm going to cut this to 8 inches. A 7/8 dowel. I'm going to cut this also to 8 inches. And then a 1x6. I'm going to cut this at 13 inches. Okay, so you can leave this thing squared off if you want. I'm going to just round it over so it looks better. And then we're going to drill a 7/8 inch hole right here. We're going to angle it just slightly up so that dowel can slide right in there. If you saw when I was cutting, I did an extra cut, and that's because if you're going to do something that's going to sit on someone's countertop, you want to try to get all the knots and the nastiness out of the wood. So I had a spot that had a nice knot in it. Just cut that and remove that. So we'll sand this off, but I'm going to round these over. Again, that's optional. So once you got all your stuff cut and sanded, I pre-drilled 2 holes in the bottom for this thing to attach to the base. Again, everything has been sanded. What I did, and no, just spoiler alert, I actually cut this down to 7 inches. I didn't like it how long it looked at 8 inches, but what you're gonna do now is you're just gonna glue it, put it together. Now you can nail this. I'm screwing it because I think screws are stronger. Again, I pre-drilled holes in the back for this. Okay. And now we're going to put the dowel on. Sprinkle some glue on her. Kind of set it where you want it. And screw in the back. Now that is the bib holder. All right, now we're going to get into a little more complicated things to build, and I've got a couple more helpers again. So this is what we're going to do. It's a school bus pencil pen holder thing for basically for teachers. So all you're going to need is a section of 2x4. We're going to cut it down to, I'll tell you in a second because I don't know. And then you need 4 of these little wheels and pegs. Now you can get these at like Joann's or Hobby Lobby, stuff like that. Yeah, so we're going to cut this down. Well, they're going to cut this down, and we'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, so I've decided that the length of the bus will be 10 inches. That's good. All right.
Nice.
All right. So then what we're going to do now... Hey, hi. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take over to the jigsaw, the bandsaw. We're going to cut this shape out to get it looking kind of like a bus. Nice and slow. Keep your fingers away from the blade. And now that we've got this thing cut down and sanded into a bus shape, we're going to decide where the wheels need to sit, because you're going to have to drill a hole for those pegs to sit through for the wheels. I feel the best way to really mark this so you know where to drill your hole is we're going to use just a nail. We're going to puncture where we want it to go, and then we'll bring over the drill press and we'll drill out for the axles. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use just a board as a spacer so I know how far the wheels will sit down on all of them. Therefore, it should sit all leveled up. So. Then what we're going to do is we're going to measure back to see where we put those marks at on the other side so that both sides will be the same. Wow. 1/2. Beautiful. Okay, so we got the holes drilled and things all ready. Now we got to sand it again, but first what we're going to do is we're going to actually add the slots in the top for your pen or pencils to sit in. So I'm going to mark these out first, and then we'll bring them back to the drill press. And I'm going to do holes every, we'll say every inch. Yep. So I've got all my lines marked on.
Where's the pencil at?
And then what we're going to do is we got to mark a line in on each side to see where we want to sit. So probably go a 1/2 inch in on each side. So while I was editing this video, I realized I forgot to explain to you guys what to do after you drilled the holes. Sorry about that. So what you're going to do is you want to paint it first, because of the fact that once you put the wheels on, painting it is going to be very difficult. So just throw some yellow paint on here, and then all you're going to do is, you saw that I had those axles and the wheels. You're literally just going to glue the axles in, so then the wheels still can spin. And then after that, let your kiddo go nuts and let them Finish up the bus, put the detail on. Quick flash of this one. Oh yeah. And then that is it for the pencil/pen school bus holder thing. So last but not least is probably the most complicated one that we're going to do, and it is a handprint flower pot thing. Great for moms, grandmas, I don't know, people. So ants, maybe bees, I don't know. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to trace out a hand, one of these hands, maybe both these hands. We're going to trace them out, then we're going to cut them on the jigsaw, and then we're going to make them in our own little flower pot that we're going to do. First, what we're going to do is for the pot, we're going to use a section of 2x8. 2x6 would work also, but I have a section of 2x8. We're going to draw out the pot shape, and then we're going to go over and we're going to trace this hand on some 1x6, and then we'll bring all of this over to the jigsaw and cut all of this out.
Yep, for real.
Alright, so cutting out the hands is going to be a little complicated, so you may want to do this one for your kid. This brave guy wants to try it, so we're going to let him go in. Like he said, if it makes a mistake, we got more wood. Nope, just cut, come on, go ahead and cut all the way through. You can cut it out in like little sections. So, yeah, you got that little cut right there? Yeah. Come over here. Chop that out, and that allows you to get in there and then move yourself around. Yep, all you're trying to do is get right to that line. Do it flat. Flat. So he did a great job at cutting these over there on the old bandsaw. So now what you're going to do is once you have them all cut and sanded down, is you're going to take, I'm using 1/4" dowel, and I cut 3 different lengths of it. So that'll set the flowers at different lengths. Drill those 1/4" holes in the bottom of the flowers. Then we're going to just drill randomly into the pot, and then we'll just stick them however we want. Obviously paint them first, and then that'll be that. So again, 1/4" is what we're using, and then we're just going to drill some holes. Holes have been drilled, so all you'll do is we're just going to dry fit these right here. And then it doesn't matter if you have left or right hands, because if you spin them around, they're the opposite. That. We'll have that guy like somewhere along the lines in there. Paint those all different colors, and there is your hand flower pot. And here are your 8 projects that were so simple, even kids can do it for Christmas. As you can see, I got the bus started to be finished right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let the other kiddo come through with probably a Sharpie, and then he can draw on all of the detail that way a little better. Or you can have him just paintbrush it on too. And as you can see, I got the flowers painted up, ready to go. And the bib holder I also got painted up. So these are your 8 easy, simple projects. I hope you guys enjoyed them. I hope you guys make them. If you make them, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys. Have a great holiday. I will see you guys on the next one.